Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's tutorial. And in today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this peplum blazer jacket that I'm wearing with a circle skirt. And if this is something that you'd like to learn, if this is something you'd like to know how to draft, let's just get right into the video. So we'll start by drafting the back, and we'll start by rolling our starting line just as you see me doing. So we're starting with the back, and after rolling this line, the next thing we're going to take is we'll start imputing all our measurements, our shoulder to our bust point, our shoulder, and we're just going to roll just like so. And after taking our shoulder to our bust point, we are going to take our shoulder to our back waistline, and we're going to roll just like so. And after taking that, we're just going to add about 8 inches to get the full length of the blouse, just as you see me doing. It's allowed, you can add about 1 inches for ease allowance. So I'm coming up by 2 inches for my chest line, just like so. So this is my chest line, this is my bust line, this is my back waist line. It is not the waistline for the back and the front, but just the back waistline and the full length. So I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'm taking that on the chest line as well, so I'm going to have a straight line because the chest line is also our armhole line. And for the back, my neck width is 3 inches, and for the neck depth is 2 inches. And I'm going to connect just like so. I'm not making a deep neck depth, but something just curvy. And I'm going to come down by 1 inches because I want to slant my shoulder. Our shoulders are not straight, and whatever is left, I'm just going to divide into 2, just like so, so I can have my armhole curve. And on the chest line, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4, and then for the back, I'm just going to curve just like so. And then on the bust point, I took the bust point so it would be easier for me to mark my nipple to nipple measurement. That's what you see me doing. I'm just going to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, just like so, and I'm going to roll a line down to the full length of the blouse. So after that, I'm just going to come in by 0.5 inches, just like so, and then I'm going to make a diamond dart all from the chest line. I'm taking it from the chest line down to the full length of the blouse. And after that, the next thing, I'm going to divide my shoulder into 2. I'm going to divide that into 2, just like so, and I will mark, and then I'll rule a straight line all to my chest line, just like so. And then I'm going to make a 0.25. I'm sharing 0.5 for the both shoulder. If you want to do 0.5, it's completely fine, but I used 0.25, to create a dart, so I won't have bulginess at the back. Then I'm just going to take my waist measurement and my darts and my 1 inch for ease allowance. And for the full length of the blouse, I added 4 inches extra to my hip length so I can have that peplum curve, as you can see, or as you saw earlier in the video. So I'm just going to make a curve just like so. And for the center back, the next thing I'm going to do for the center back, so to eliminate any bulginess, like I said, this is the back. To eliminate any bulginess, I'm going to come in by 0.5 for the center back, so the back can just be flat and relaxed very well. So I'm just going to take a curve, a tiny one. This is a dart, so it will be relaxed. And also for the end part of the back, I'm coming up with 1.5 because I don't want the back to be long. I want it to stand and be very fine. So I'm just going to make a curve just as you see it there, and we're just going to cut out. So this way we are done with drafting the back. So the reason why we are drafting the back before the front is because we will need the neckline for the back, so it will be easier for us to draft our collar. So this is it. We are just going to keep this aside, but I'm taking the dart out first. So we're just going to keep this aside and then draft our front. So now we're coming down by 6 inches. This is for our collar. So that's why I'm coming down by 6 inches. So I'm giving space, I'm creating a room for the collar. And I'm coming in, that is for the top. And for the side, you see me doing so, I'm coming in by 5 inches. This is for my button allowance and also for my lapel. So that's the reason why the up is for the collar and the side I'm taking is for my collar and for my, I mean for my lapel rather, and for my button hole. So after doing that, I'm taking that to the full M line. So after doing that, see where I'm starting the line. I didn't start from the top. From there, I'm going to mark my chest line. I'm going to mark my bust line. Please include your under bust line. I later included it. My chest line, my bust line. We added from the waist, my front waistline. That's what I'm marking here, and then extra 8 inches for the full length, which is the hip line. So that's basically what I did. Please add your underbust because I later added underbust to this. So I'm just going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, just as we did for the back, and we're just going to take down to the chest line because the chest line is also the armhole line. So we're just going to roll just like so as we did for the back, and then the neck, we're coming down, I mean taking a neck width of 3 inches for the front. It is a neck width of 3 by 3. Remember, for the back it is 3 by 2. So for the front it is 3 by 3. And the next thing we're going to do is to come down by 1 inches, just as we did for the back, so we can have our shoulder slant just like so. And then whatever we are left with, we are just going to divide that into 2, just as you see me doing and just as we did for the back. Now this is the little difference. We are now coming in by half inches so we can have our armhole curve. For the front around the armpit, for me that is fat, like you'll see some flesh around that area, so that's why we're coming in, so that part will be relaxed. And on the chest line, I took my bust measurement divided by 4. So we are making a curve and then we're just taking a straight line. This is the difference between the front and the back for the armhole. Then we're still going to mark our nipple to nipple, just as you see me doing, just like so. And now this nipple to nipple, I did not take it from the chest line, from like the back. I took it from the bust point, leaving the chest line. So from that bust point, I'm just going to rule a line down to the full length of the blouse, just like so. And just as we did for the back, we're coming in by 0.5 and I'm stepping down by 1 inches. I did not take the dart up to the bust. I stepped down by 1 inches. So we're just going to rule just like so and create our diamond dart. So after that, we are dividing our shoulder into 2, just like so, and then we are just going to make a mark and rule a line down to that stepped down that I did, the 1 inches which I stepped down with, and then about that of 0.25. Like I said, if you want to use a dart of 0.5, it is completely fine, but I use 0.25. And then we're just going to take our waist measurement divided by 4 plus our dart, and then 1 inches for ease, just like so. And then we're just going to connect on the full length of the blouse. We're just going to take our hip measurement plus 4 inches and then our 1 inch for ease, because we want to have that peplum curve around that area. So after that, this is why I said when you are adding, add your underbust, because this is when I added my underbust. So now the reason why we took our back and our front waistline is because we are just going to remove that from the front. If we don't remove it from the front, our back and our front will not be equal. So that's the purpose of the underbust. So for the underbust line, now it's now creating a space between the underbust and the bust point. So around that bust point, that's where we are now going to minus the 2 inches, because that's the difference between my back and my front waistline. So I've marked it and I'm just going to rule a line straight to the bust point, just like so. So now we are now coming to our lapel and our collar. So I'm taking 1 inches for my button allowance. So you are marking the button allowance first before you are doing any other thing around that area. So this is the button that I have added. This is for my button allowance. I added 1 inches for my button allowance. After adding 1 inches for our button allowance, you decide where you want the front collar, which is the lapel, where you want the break to be. Mine was around the bust area, so from the neck width you are going to connect it to the bust area just like so. So I'm just going to rule a straight line all the way to the bust area. Now, if you want to stop around your waist area, it's fine. But for this tutorial, I stopped at the bust area. After doing the bust point, after doing that, you now decide how fat, how big you want your lapel to be. So I wanted mine to be bold. So I added 2.5 inches allowance. So that's what you see me marking here. And then automatically, you know that we'll now create, this is going to, we are now extending the neck down to this 2.5, and then we are creating our new lapel. Remember that from the button hole we created if our first lapel. Now because I wanted it to be big, I added 2.5, and now I have created the second one. So now this button hole at the top part of the lapel is eliminated. So after that, we'll now bring our back just as you see me doing, and then we're just going to take our neck width measurement, like for the curve that we made. We're just going to know what we have there. What we have there was 3.75, and now this is where we are now bringing our collar in. So that 3.75, you're just going to make a slant line just like so, and then you mark. Now you are connecting this to the neckline. You're not connecting it to the lapel line first. You are connecting it to the neckline. That's what you see me doing. Now, after connecting it boldly to the neckline, you're just going to come in by zero point 0.5, so it will be relaxed. Now, I want to extend it to the lapel line. Initially, I took it to the neckline, but because it's connecting to the lapel, I'm now going to mark zero point 0.5, which you see me doing, and then I'm going to extend it now to the lapel line so it will be relaxed. So that's what you see me doing. And after doing that, that 3.75, I'm just going to come out by that 3.75 so I can get my collar curve. So I'm just going to mark that from that new zero point 0.5, not the first one. I'm going to mark that 3.75 there from our new neck collar line that we marked just like so. And then we are now extending it to our lapel, but we are coming up by 1 inches for our notch. So we're just going to take that to the line which we have cancelled already, which was our button line, and then we're just going to make a slant curve, not a deep curve, a very slant curve just like so. And then we have our collar and we have our lapel as well. So this is our collar, this is our lapel, this is our button line or our buttonhole line. After that, we're just going to come up by 2 inches just like so, so we can give it a curve. And then for the front, we're just going to come up by 1 inches just as we did for the back, so it will not be very long, so they can align properly together. And then we're just going to make a curve just like so. And after that, basically the next thing we are going to do is we're just going to take out our that line, the one that we differentiated the line for the back and also the waistline for the front. So that's what we are going to do next. So we're just going to open the line just like so, and then try to place it together. But as I was trying to place it together, I needed to open up. Like if you know you're placing it that way and it's not connecting, you can just open up just like so, so it will be easy for you. I'm just going to take this out, and then we're just going to place them on top just like so, and then we're going to use our masking tape and connect that together. Now, by doing so, you'll see that the back and the front is going to align properly together. If you can see from what I have done now, you'll see that there's a part coming out. You're just going to replace that part also as well. You can now see our back and our front meeting together. So please just watch carefully to see how I am cutting. So this is the notch. From the notch part, that's where we are going to bring out the collar. The collar is separated from the drafted bodies. Every other part, is together, like the side is out, the center part is out, and the collar as well is going off as well. So this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to take off the darts for the back. Please also take the darts off for the front as well, because I can see from this video that one part was actually missing. This is the center, back, the side, and all of it. So now for our sleeve, we're going to make a two-piece sleeve. So I've already drafted. I didn't want it to be long, so I didn't show the drafted part. So this is our front, and also this is our back. So to get our two-piece sleeve, an easy way to do that, we're just going to create a crease line just like so, or you can rule a line as well. So I'm just working with a crease line and making sure so it will show at the other side. So after drafting out your sleeve, the next thing is to form a crease line, and then you're going to take one end, meeting with the crease line just like so. You're just going to put that together, like you're making sure like every part, like just as you see me doing, like as you're folding it, it gets to the middle. If it's not meeting that crease line, you fold it again. So I'm just doing that for the both sides. Like this is an easy way to make a blazer jacket, and a blazer jacket is not always fine when you make a normal sleeve for it, but when you make an actual blazer sleeve for it, that's when it's fine. After doing that, after now we're creating a two-piece sleeve, and a blazer jacket always uses a two-piece sleeve. So after doing that, we're just going to come in by one inch just like so. Now the aim of this is for us to separate our small sleeve and our big sleeve. That is the aim of two-piece sleeve. It has a smaller sleeve and also a big sleeve. So we are just going to mark 1 inches just like so, and then rule a line just as you see me doing. We're just going to rule a line just like so on each of the one line, so it will be able to remove the sleeve. This is an easy way for making a two-piece sleeve. So now we're just going to mark our elbow line. So you just take your elbow measurement and then rule a line just like so to mark your elbow line, and then we're now taking out from the 1 inches which we created, which we marked earlier. So we're just going to cut out just like so. Now we have our two-piece sleeve. So we're just going to connect our elbow line again just like so. Now the only a bit complicated, it is not the only different thing we're going to do right now, is we are going to create an opening for our elbow. Like if you raise your hand, you know that your elbow, like there's a sharp point, when you fold your hand, like the joints that connected both the front and the bicep area, like there's a joint around that elbow part. So we are going to mark like 1 inch. Now we're creating a space for it, so when you wear your jacket and you fold your hand, like this space we are creating now is just to fit in that our elbow eye, or I don't know how I'm going to call it, like just to fit in that properly. So this is what we're just doing around the elbow line. You just create it open and then use about 1 inches or 0.5 inches, but I actually used 1 inches. So automatically it will now give you that human hand shape. So we're just going to after marking your 1 inches, the next thing you're just going to use your tape. You're not adding a new material to it. It's nothing different. So you're just going to cut. You now see how it is. It's now having like this human hand, and for the smaller sleeves there's always a shortage, so you're just going to fill that up and then you cut, so everything will align properly, and we are done with drafting our two-piece sleeve. So just take your time and watch the video again. You're going to understand. So this is what it looks like after we have drafted on all our materials. You can see how it is. We've added our allowances, and then I went ahead to add about 2 inches down to the waistline because I want to have that small peplum effect. And on the side, I added 1 inches allowance extra to it, so I don't have a shortage. And every other part that is actually joining, I added 1 inch, 0.75 or 0.5, whichever that works for you. Now we are connecting our back first. So now the back, the back we have 4 pieces. So now that four pieces, we are just going to join all of them together. These are the four pieces. So you are joining the center together. For the center, I did not add the 2 inches to form the peplon, and these are the sides. So we are just going to join them like this. Whatever you do for the main material, you are going to do for the lining as well. So you're making sure you have your body measurement. Now this is for the side. Like I said, I added 1 inches. So this is what it looks like. So we're just going to join the sides to it. For the front, you know that the middle is not going to, you're not joining the middle. So this is what the sides look like. Because of our that, we have that princess cut. So we're just going to join whatever you do for the main material, you do for the lining. So now for the hand, the easy way to identify it, the elbows will be meeting each other for the small and the big fabric, and also for the lining as well. That's the easy way to identify where to join and where not to join. So this is what it looks like. So it's now looking like human hand shape. So after doing that, this is what we have after I have joined the back together and I have as well ironed it. And also this is the front as well. You can see I did not join the middle because it is a blazer. So, and the side. So, and these are the linings as well. So after joining, this is our lining. I added estee to it, and this is our collar. You know the collar is separated. So you are going to notch like your middle points, just like so, and also notch that for the material, the body of the material as well, because now we want to connect our collar to it. So now the next, we're just going to join our collar, middle meeting each other just like so, and then we're just going to pin almost to the end. But remember, like when we're making our notch, or like when we're making our collar lapel extension, we actually added 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to pin until I get to 2.5. You just use your your tape to check what you have. So you're just going to end wherever, like, whatever you added. So that's what I just checked, and I ended at 2.5, just as I added for the lapel extension. So you're just going to do that and you pin. And when you're pinning for the lining, you're also going to pin for the main material, and you're going to join them as well. This is what it looks like after I have joined them, and I'm going to create a notch just like so, so it sits down properly. So now the reason why my lining has my main material is because when I flip the lapel, I want the material to be showing and not the lining. That's why it has that part on that point. So now at this point, we are working with enough pin, because we want to make sure they are all meeting together before we start closing it. So we are just going to pin, like, you work with so many pins at this point, and making sure like it is straight, not any part bulging out or anything. That's why you need to work with your tape to know whatever allowances you are using. So I'm just trimming the end at this point, because after this stage, you will not be able to trim out anything again. So at this point, I'm just trying to trim out what I have. That's why when I was drafting, after getting your hip line, you can add about 2 inches. So when you trim, you can now work get the exact length that you want. So we're just going to join just like so, and after doing that, notch and you iron properly. So now this is for my shoulder part. My paper is folded into two. I didn't know I don't have a pad at home, a shoulder pad at home, so I'm creating one. I'm just making 4 inches all the way around just like so, so I can make a ready-made, I make a pad for myself. So this is what it looks like. I just came up by 4 inches all the way around, and then I'm just going to cut. The paper is folded, and then I'll open. This is what it looks like. So after doing that, I will just bring my foam. This foam is about 0.25 inches, so it is not really a thick one. If you have a thick one of 1 inches, it works perfectly fine. But because this is about 0.5, or 0.5 or 0.25, I had to double them together. But 1 inches is perfectly very fine. So I had to make like two in one, just like so, because I wanted it to be up just a little bit. So this is what I have. I'm just going to trim on the sides and the top just like so. And then I'm using my estate to gum on it so it will not show. So you're just going to create the size, and this is what it looks like after I have done that. So now you're just going to bring your sleeve. This is my sleeve. At the top, I added gum stay to it for the top of the sleeve so you can have strong effects. But for the lining, I did not. But if you want to do that for the lining too, it's fine. So we are now placing right side meeting each other, and the next thing we are just going to stitch right side on each other, and the next we're just going to stitch on the line first. This is what it looks like after stitching, and then you are just going to join your sleeve like this first, and then you run a stitch on it as it is like this from the top down to the lining. So now this is what it looks like after I have done that. So I'm just going to put my hand from the main material and then drag the lining out. So I'm using a pongee lining for this because I don't want it to be very very thick. So now I'm just going to use my hand as I don't did for the main material, and then bring out the lining up just like so. So after we've done this point, the next thing, you're just going to drag your lining up, because we want to have like this turn up effect on the sleeve, just as we used to do turn up for our skirts. This is what I'm just trying to explain. So you're just going to drag the lining up so you have this turn up effect, so the lining will not be showing whichever way, and then you just create a notch and then join on your main bodies. And now this is our wording, a very soft wording. I use this to add to the shoulder, so the shoulder can have this suit effect. So I worked with 4 inches is fine, but I think I worked with about 3 inches there. But this is what all I had in the house, and then this is our shoulder pad. So we're just going to work with all of this to add the sleeve. So now we're bringing back our main material, like our blazer. Like I said, after sewing, you're just going to turn and then you iron and create an opening around the jacket, the blazer, so it will be easier for you to flip, turn thereabouts. So after doing that, I'm just going to take my sleeve, right side facing each other just like so, as you see me doing, and then I'm going to put the shoulder pad under just like so, and then I pin just like so. And then you're just going to do that continuously all the way around. Like the pad is under, then the sleeve is on top, but you're not adding your lining. You're going to join your lining separately from it. Like you're working with one material at a time. You're working with the main material before you work with the lining. So we're just going to pin around just like so, and then we take it to the sewing machine. So just as we place, we're just going to sew about 1.5 inches just like so from the top, just as we pinned. And then this is our wording. We're just going to fold just as you see me doing, and place it on the top, and then you sew. Now we have the shoulder pad, our main body, our sleeve, and then this on top. So the work of this is just to give it like this structure, like for it to just have this little like it will stand a little bit, that just the work of it. So it will not look like our normal sleeve. It will be looking like um a suit sleeve. Like this is a suit sleeve, not looking like a suit sleeve. Like this is a suit sleeve. Like this is how you just work with it. So we are just going to sew on it just like so, and then we are just sewing until we get to the end part of the sleeve. Now we're working the wording as well as the blazer and the hand, those, and the shoulder pad. We're actually joining all of that together so we can have that structural effect, giving it that suit shoulder. So we're just going to cut out the excess, and then when we are joining to the end, you are going to leave about 1.5 inches. It's not going to get to the armhole. You leave about 1.5 inches, just as we started from the beginning. If you remember in joining, you're not joining with the lining, it's just the main material you're joining. The lining, you're also joining the lining separate as well. So we are just going to sew this, getting to the end as shown. So after that, the place we opened around the lining, you're just going to put your hand there, joining the hand and the part of the lining hand, right side facing each other, and then you're just going to fix your hand just like so, so you'll be able to hold that part. And another thing, if the the hand lining has an excess, please do not bother about that. You can just split on top, since it's the lining. It is better for the lining to have an excess than for the main material to have an excess. So you're just going to do that for the other hand as well. So the opening on the blazer on the lining, you're just going to stitch that part. Enables you to be able to join the hands together. If you don't open any part just like so, it will be a bit difficult for you, except you have any other way which you can do this as well. So now for the skirt, we're just going to keep fold our lining. We're folding double just like so. The edges are open, but the part where I'm standing is closed. So you're just going to pick one end, meeting with the other end. We're trying to form a triangle. Like, this is how to cut a circle dress. So we're just trying to form a triangle. You can see I lifted one end, meeting with another end. So we're just going to place our waist measurement divided by 4, and mark. You can add about 3 to 4 inches to it, so you'll be able to pleat the skirt. Please, when you are drawing your line, don't make it straight. You can just give it a bit curve. That way, when you are taking your measurements, it will be easier and all of them will align properly. So now we're just going to minus 2 and get the length of our skirt, just like so. The minus 2 is for our waistband. We're minusing 2 and just getting the length of our skirt. Now, see why I said you make it curve. Once it's curved, everywhere aligns together and meets together with the same mark. So after that, we're just going to curve on the cut out rather on the curve line, and then we're just going to cut out just like so. Now our skirt is out. I'm not opening the side, only one side is open. Everywhere it's actually together, only one side is open, which is the side for the zipper. I did not join on the side or anything, only one side is open, as you can see how it is on the lining. So we are just going to cut out just like so. I'm holding with a pin, so this is a punchy lining, so it's used to shift. So if you can as well do that without holding down with a pin. So we are just going to cut out that part just like so. So I'm just taking it out, as you can see. And please let the lining be like 2 inches shorter than the main material, so you can easily make a turn up. So this is what it looks like after I have joined the lining and the main material together. You can see the turn up at the end part. So this is my waistband. So you're just going to fix the waistband exactly the size, the length which is going to work for you. And then when you're pleating, you pleat to exactly your waist measurement. You just add your zipper, and basically we are done with this tutorial. After joining the hand for the blazer, you just turn and then you iron, and we are done with this tutorial. You just close with about 2 inches and then add your zipper. So thank you so much, guys. As you can see how it is on me, thank you for staying tuned to the end of this tutorial. Please take your time and watch. Please subscribe to my channel, drop your comments and drop your questions. I will definitely answer them. So bye for now, and I will see you in my next video.